Sri Lanka. In case you just tuned in, our guest today is Dr. Dheena Sadik, who was here before, and we're just getting into the nitty-gritties of positive living and how to get over your holiday blues, I guess. After
we were on the action part.
Yes, we were on action, now we're getting into the next step.
You were not done with action though.
Really?
Yes.
There's more to action. Wow, okay.
Yes, because I just remembered the Dalai Lama said that in order to have a positive action, you need to have a positive vision.
Right.
And that's what made the difference between the two guys. Before they started off on that day for their interview, the positive guy, Anil, had the vision that he's going to get the job.
Yeah. Okay, just to wrap the people up here, there's a guy called Anil, there's a guy called Bill. Both of them are the same level. Anil's more positive, so he got the job. Bill is always negative, so he didn't get the job.
Yes.
Cool. All right.
So the two of them actually visualized what it is that they wanted to achieve, which is a really important part in having a positive outlook towards life. We need to visualize what it is that we want to be doing, because again, we're going to go out of the way and prove everyone wrong. Based on what we had visualized our reality to be.
True.
Consider two students, right? The two of them have 1 month for the exam. Both of them are average students. The same Anil and Bill scenario can be applied to two people from any situation. Two guys who are going to get the job is what we explained earlier. But then take two students, especially for those still at home and trying to get back to school after their holidays. You have 1 month more for your exams, right? And both of you are average students, and everything is the same. You're going to the same school, same teachers, the same syllabus, and one visualizes that she wants to
become valedictorian, maybe like the top of the class.
Top of the class. Become totally awesome.
Okay.
Whereas the other thinks, okay, you know what, I've always been average, so it's okay if I pass.
Yeah. That's unfortunately what I was. The average kid. I'm joking. Okay, yeah.
So you start to work, because what happens is when you visualize something to be your reality, you start building and you go towards that reality into creating what it is that you want to happen in your life, and you take the necessary action and the necessary steps. Because Confucius said that if you have goals and you're not achieving them, don't change the goals, change the action towards the goals. Because if you keep doing what you did, you keep getting what you got.
So with making all these steps that we mentioned so far, from belief, thoughts, words, action, and also reaction, if I'm guessing, you use all of this and it comes to the conclusion of your reality, if you use it right.
We're not yet done with the reaction part.
Really? There's more to action? Wow, okay, well.
The reaction part.
Reaction?
Yes.
Wait, there's action and reaction?
Yes. Action is what you do. Reaction is how you react to the external circumstances. For example, you are a positive guy. Alright, and then I'm just going to start being really rude to you. And the way you react is going to be to a large extent what you are by nature. And a really good analogy to this situation was explained by Dr. Wayne Dyer, one of my favorite authors, spiritual authors and writers. He considered an orange. He said, regardless who squeezes an orange, what do you get?
Orange juice.
Orange juice, right? So each of us are like the orange, because if you are someone who is positive by nature, regardless how people may treat you from the outside, you react in a positive way, right? And you react in a kind way if you are kind by nature. But if you are angry by nature, and if you're constantly someone with a really bad temper, then even for the slightest of stimulus from the outside, you're going to react in that way. So this is how Dr. Wayne Dyer explained it. So the reaction depends on who you are on the inside, because regardless how you are going to be bombarded from the outside, you're going to react accordingly. And Carl Jung, the psychiatrist from Switzerland, said that when two personalities interact, that it's like two chemicals coming together. And if there is a reaction, then the two of them are going to leave transformed.
Right, it's really interesting at the quotes that you keep quoting, because it makes me think a lot. Because since you brought up this last one where if you mix two chemicals together, sometimes they wouldn't mix up really well, wouldn't they? Sometimes you would see the blue mixing with the white, and it wouldn't really, the transparent, I might add, and it would never really mix. But sometimes you would get a more milky looking substance, so that's something that's really mixed well. So it all depends on how you mix something well inside of you that you kind of let out, and the universe will kind of
make it happen.
Make it
into
happen.
your reality.
So that's, wow. Great.
Speaking of reality, I have a real life story to share.
Great. Let's hear this real life. I love real life stories because we don't get much here. Unfortunately, people don't like to share their stories with me. But since you're going to do it, let's hear it.
It's not my story though, but it's a story that really inspired me.
Okay.
This is a story of a boy in Malaysia who was living on the streets, right? His mom used to collect newspapers and bottles to make a basic living for them and to feed the kids. It got so difficult to the point the boy at the age of 15 decided to quit school, right, in order to help his mom to be able to feed his siblings.
Okay.
And afterwards, what was he able to do at that point? Because he didn't have a basic education, he ends up becoming a street fighter.
Wow. I've heard of these fighters.
Yes, he becomes a street fighter where he literally gets paid for the fights that he wins.
Yeah.
And obviously at the age of 15, there's only so much strength that you can, put out there to the guys who are adults and so much more experienced. And he would win one occasionally, but he would lose most of them. And it got to a point where he was so injured that he had to quit because it was detrimental to him, health-wise. So he decided to quit, and then he goes around looking for a job. And then he comes across his karate school.
Okay.
And the karate school, the master says, "So what do you want me to help you with? I mean, what kind of job can I give you?"
Yeah.
To which the boy says, "I can be your bodyguard." Since I've been a street fighter.
To a karate master.
Yes.
Okay.
So the karate master saw something in this boy because he was so persistent, and he just knew that this guy was not only a fighter on the streets, but he was someone who was really strong mentally. And he did something that was going to change this boy's life forever. He made a phone call to the vice chancellor in one of the universities, and it turns out they had a few seats which was available to the street children, full scholarships. So not having his A-levels or the 12th standard exams at that point, he was able to do foundation exams, and he was able to get in. And at that point, he didn't even have a change of clothes, because that's how poor he was. But not only was he a street fighter before he went in, he continued to be that positive fighter.
Wow.
All along. And he gets his degree, he gets his bachelor's, he gets his master's, he gets his PhD, not one PhD, but 3 PhDs.
Good Lord.
Yes, and eventually he becomes the vice chancellor of that university.
Wow.
Who is responsible for having sponsored 25,000 street children.
Wow. That is interesting. And this chancellor is someone that's still living today, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Obviously. Interesting.
Yes. So this is the reality of someone who is positive.
Yeah.
I mean, we find people complaining about such trivial things. I don't have the latest phone, and I don't have, the latest Xbox or whatever the latest, the teenage fad is of the time.
Justin Bieber, I think. I don't know what it is. Maybe. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, here you have a child, you have a kid who is literally on the street. He'll be lucky if he can get a decent meal for a day.
True.
And he goes on to having that positive attitude all the way up to becoming someone who is an inspiration to thousands of other kids in his position.
Right. So that brings about, so to answer the question of how to get over your post-holiday blues is to be a positive person.
Yes.
Even if life throws things at you which is negative, always make sure that
be the positive orange.
Be the positive orange. That's nice. That's really good. That's a good one. All right, Dheena, unfortunately we are out of time. It's been such a pleasure having you on the show.
It's been a pleasure.
We'd love to have you back one more time. All right, if you want to find out more information about Dheena and how to get in contact with her, you can email us at mtvsports@maharaja.ok to find out more information. We'll be right back after this commercial break.